What you're gonna need for this haircut is 4 plastic Before clips or any plastic clips, a large bone comb, a cutting comb, a pair of shears, curl-in activator, curl-in defining solution, Behave, smooth-in oil therapy, and illuminate. Hi, this is Lisa Vann, and I am going to introduce to you how to cut, style, and finish natural curly hair. So a lot of my guests have been growing out their sodium hydroxide relaxer, and they also have been wearing their hair straight and using a lot of hot tools to press out the hair. So one of the things that I want to show you is how I would then take my guests from this straight state of how they're wearing their natural hair now that their relaxer has been cut out into a natural coiled state because they're ready for a new cut, a new style, and they want to wear their hair curly now. So I'm going to go through and show you how I'd approach that in the salon. Now I have a bone comb, and one of the things about natural curly hair, when it's straight, it's nice and silky and smooth and easy to comb through. But once you wet it, it's gonna coil up and curl up. So you wanna make sure that you get all of that loose hair out of the head. So you're gonna go through and you're gonna make sure that when you comb through this, you're combing out any loose hair that might still be attached to the curly hair. So what happens is, when you have the guest that's wearing their hair in a natural state, you're gonna use the long tail comb of your bone comb and go through and just kind of push that in at the scalp and pull that hair out. And then once you get all that hair at the scalp that could be matted in from hair that's shedded out, then you're gonna go in with a rake and just kind of gently brush all that out. So you're gonna get all that loose hair that's shedded out, that's kind of locked in, release before you wet the hair. So I'm gonna go through and just rake through all this hair and make sure I have all that loose hair out before I go in and I shampoo. So it's pretty easy with this guest because she has already had her hair blown out smooth and flat ironed, so she's good to go and get shampooed and conditioned, and I'll bring her back and I'll show you how I will prep. So I'm back, and I am actually bringing Amber to the forefront because of her textured hair. And this is a great pivot point mannequin that you can get that has a really great texture of hair, and they're called Amber, and they're by Pivot Point. So if you want to practice with your working on highly textured hair, I really would recommend the Amber because it's more of a tight coil versus just curl. So this has a really nice texture to it that is a great way of working on natural curly hair. So I'm going to start off with let me tell you that I started off with the Urgent Repair shampoo, and I did a really good 5-minute shampoo cleanse. Generally, my guests that have naturally curly hair are only washing their hair about once every 10 to 14 days. Secondly, after I did the Urgent Repair, I went in with the Moisture Intense shampoo and gave a good shampoo as well. Sometimes it might take a third shampoo. With Amber, it did not. And then I did the Beautifying Elixir Moisture Mask for about 10 minutes to just really hydrate the curl. After that, I'm gonna go in, and I always generally cut highly textured hair dry. So I'm gonna style her out first, and then go in and do her cut on the natural coils. So once you work your curl activator in, you're gonna make sure it's combed through evenly. And then I'm gonna go through with my curl-in defining solution and work this foam through the hair. I do like the curl-in foam in the hair for Afro hair or natural textured hair, because it's not gonna get flaky. It's real soft in the hair. I don't find that formation does get flaky, but sometimes it could be too stiff. It's almost too much hold in the hair. And you wanna be able to see that product in the hair. So you really wanna get it evenly combed through, and you really wanna see it in the hair. So I brought it up very close so you could see how much product I'm putting in for this set. I use a lot of product because I want to make sure that the set is going to hold and it's smooth curls or smooth coils throughout the weeks that she's wearing it. Secondly, I'm going to go in with our Smooth In Oil Therapy, and I'm using about a quarter size, and this just gives a good slip on the hair when I'm twisting out. And then I'm going to go in with our Behave, and I like to put Behave on the back of my hand, so that way when I twist out, I don't have to stop and keep picking up the bottle. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to use 1/2 inch to 1/2 inch sections, work the product through the roots to the ends, and then twist it. You want to twist the coils pretty tight that you're seeing product all the way through, and then you're going to actually release and then make sure that your coils are even. So I'm going to use my comb here, 1/2 inch to 1/2 inch, twisting my coils out and then letting it release. So again, working the product roots to ends so I get a little bit of hold, twist. If you have shorter hair, you can go in with your comb, put your product on the comb, take your end of your comb, twist, and bring it all the way out to the ends so that you can get it tight at the scalp. So I'm in a section, again, 1/2 inch to 1/2 inch subsection, go in, twist. And continuing to twist out all the way around the head. So you can see how much product I'm using. You want to be able to see that product all the way to the roots. Use a little bit more. I'm using all soft products that actually leave a soft, light to medium hold in the hair. And they're either a foam or a cream. I'm not using any gels. So again, working that product all the way through, twisting it all the way out, and then going into my next section. I'm going to speed up here a little bit for you. As I get above the parietal, I'm actually going to pull the section straight out from the head, and I'm going to coil them in opposite directions so I can get more lift at the top. So I'm going to do all the same direction under the parietal ridge and opposite directions. So I'm almost collisioning the curls into each other and pulling straight off the top when I get above the parietal ridge. But every 2 rows in each quadrant, I need a little bit more product. And you really want to make sure that you're layering in that product. I love Behave because it really does give me great shine, light hold, and really good condition into the hair. so you can really see that product when you're twisting it out. And when I'm working the top, I'm collisioning my curls or my coils, and I'm pulling it straight up. So I'm going to continue this all over the head, and then I'll be back after it's dry and show you how I finish it and cut the hair. So we're back after all the twists are in. Now I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna diffuse. When I'm diffusing the hair, I'm really breaking it up into a top quadrant, 2 side quadrants, and 4 back quadrants. So I'm gonna start, just for camera purposes, on the front side. And I'm gonna take my diffuser on medium heat, medium speed, and I'm gonna come in straight. Make sure those curls are sitting in the cup of the diffuser, and then I'm pushing them in straight. I'm putting my hand in there just to make sure that the hair is not the heat is not getting too hot, and then keeping my finger on the cool button once I feel like it's getting hot. Now, when you're diffusing the top, it's going to be the same way. You're going to set the curls into your drum of your diffuser and come straight in. Again, put your fingers in there to make sure it's not getting too hot, keeping your finger on the cool button. In the front, same way. Set the curls into your cup and then come in and go straight in. So I'm gonna actually set her under a dryer, so that's a preference in the salon, is either diffusing it or setting it under the dryer. When you diffuse it, these curls should go tight and flat to the head. So when you put it under the dryer, I would probably get them in place first with your diffuser, and then get the interior of the hair dry with the hood dryer. Because what the diffuser can do is push your curls up and get them really tight to the head before you pull them out. So you can see here how much those shrunk up compared to this side. So you really want to get those shrunk into place before you put them under the hooded dryer. So we are back, and she's completely dry. And like I said, I went through and I diffused her all the way into place, so all the curls set right on place, and then, or right on base. And then I put her under the hooded dryer to get the internal part really dry. So she's completely set, and as you can see, the curl is just really springy. And now I'm gonna create the shape of my cut. So I wanna bring her in pretty close for this part. So the first thing I think about is shape when it comes to textured hair. I really wanna go in pretty tight underneath the parietal ridge, and then also back at underneath the occipital. So I'm gonna go through, lift my curls up, and pin them out of the way at the parietal ridge, and then come in under the occipital again. Lift the hair up gently with my comb, the tail of my comb, and clip the hair out of the way. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side, right at my parietal ridge. Lift those curls up. Clip them out of the way. I'm going to pull these down. Okay. Now I'm going to go in and I'm really going to look at each individual curl, and I'm going to cut probably, okay, so if you can see that first circle curl formation here, I'm going to go through everything under the parietal ridge and under the occipital, and I'm basically cutting that curl down in half. So I'm pulling it out gently, going one full circle in to that coil and cutting off that curl. And right around the ear, I'm literally cutting that whole section to half the width of the hair. So I'm going to move through and I'm cutting everything around the hairline is cut in half of that full section. And then when I move up to my next section, I'm just cutting that first curl off. So it's a full circle curl, and I'm going to do that all the way up to the parietal ridge and the occipital. So I'm just building up volume to the top. Now I'm going to release my top. And I'm really not wanting to take a lot of length off the top. I'm just really going to go through and just take off the tips. And because each bit of the length on top varies, this will just give me this fun, airy texture on top. Now, if you wanted to go in and cut things a little bit deeper, you can. If this hair was quite a bit longer, I probably would go into about this length anyway. But right now, I'm just kind of trimming off the knots of the ends. When you have highly textured hair that actually knots, what that is a split end. So the hair actually splits and it coils back into itself, so you get a knot in the hair. So anytime you have a guest with highly textured hair that has knots on the end of their hair, it's time for a good trim. I'm not seeing a lot of my guests with highly textured hair getting cut more than once or twice a year, and that's if I recommend it because they're starting to need some repair in their hair. Most of the time it's styling and conditioning treatments. So I didn't do this section here, so I'm going to just go through there. Now I'm pretty consistent on where I actually balance out this cut because I do it so often. So with you, you might want to section out a bit more and just kind of guide yourself through a pattern of when you do this textured cut. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to pull apart my coils with the Smooth In therapy. So I'm going to go in and each of my coils I'm going to break into threes. So here's one coil, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to work the aloe therapy all the way through the roots to the ends. So I'm just going to break up my coils into 3 sections with the aloe therapy oil. Working the oil all the way through the coil, then go 1, 2, and I have 3 sections. 1, 2, 3. And just make sure you're working that oil all the way through the roots to the ends when you're breaking up your coils. Some of my guests just wear their coils home and they break them up themselves. But if I'm doing a photo shoot or a show, or if a guest has an event, they know this set is going to stay pretty well because I do lock in those coils really well. And so I might break it up for them. I like to break it up for them because I can just layer in my products that actually work well with the texture of hair, and it gives them a lot more wear to their hair. If not, I send them home with the Illuminate, the Smooth In Oil Therapy, and the Gloss Spray. And that's something that they can do at home when they actually do their twist out style or coil out style. Just really depends on how I set their hair. Same if I'm doing a rod set as well. I'm going to now go through, break up this side. Get a little bit more of oil. Most of the guests that I do this look on, they actually wear this for about 10 days to 2 weeks, and they come into the salon and get their hair done twice a month. And this allows me to kind of be versatile too if I want to change it up at all, or do a different set, or blow it out, or do a different style. But I like the idea that they're wearing their hair curly. Okay, I think I've got everything just about broken up. Now the last thing you're gonna do is take your tail of your bone comb and you're just gonna push up your coils from the root. You're not really going to take it all the way through to the ends. You're just gonna push them up at the root and just lift some of that hair out. Same in the back. I'm just going to create your shape. So just slip it in and just pull it out. You can start seeing that build of shape through the top and how soft it is. Another thing I like to do is just take the rake and just pull out all around the hairline, just so I don't have any splits. But again, I'm not raking it all the way through. I'm just bringing it and pulling it out about 1 inch, just around the hairline. There you have it. The profile shape. When I'm done, I usually like to go in with a little bit of the Illuminate and then just really shine up the ends in the hair. And this is something that they can do in the mornings, just kind of break up the set and make sure that they have the hydration and moisture and shine in their hair that they like. Okay. Fun. Thank you again. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll be doing a few more texture classes for you. I'll probably next do a twist set with a little bit longer square layer cut. So stay tuned. I'll be posting more texture cut styles and permanent waving techniques for you to come.